Hi yarn lovers, I'm Gary and I'm coming to you from Vancouver, Canada. This is video number 2 where I talk about all things yarn related, knitting, crocheting, finished products, works in progress, and a bit of a yarn haul. So I hope you'll stay with me and enjoy this YouTube video. And if you do like it, I do recommend that you subscribe and you hit the bell button for a notification and you give me a like. That would be great. So I do apologize for video number 1 as I was kind of setting up for the very first time, and it did take me quite a while to get the lighting and the height of the camera perfect or relatively perfect. I broke a stool in the process of actually getting the camera balanced. We have the hydraulic stools that we use in the kitchen with the lever that allows you to kind of lower or raise the height of the stool, and in the process of using the lever, I actually broke the lever off the stool. So you can just imagine, by the time I sat down to record video number 1, I was already exhausted before I began. I have a funny story to tell you about my very first finished item. I'm a new knitter. I started in March, so I've been going for about 6 months, and I went to Michael's, my local store, where I purchased 2 skeins of wool, or yarn I should say, and with the idea of making a scarf. I didn't know to read the labels and figure out the weight of the yarn, to also consider the recommended needle size. So I was way off. I had bought needles that were too small for the yarn, and went home and was very enthusiastic about starting my scarf project. I'd already seen some YouTube channels to get an idea that I wanted to do the one knit, one purl ribbing scarf for the drape and for the elasticity of it. And as I was working it up, I kind of got halfway through the first skein and thought, it's a little dense. So this is what I had learnt. My very first project was, this is the wool, this is the knit pattern that I had chosen. The stitch work was the 1x1 ribbing, and I did around 40 stitches across with this bulky 5, and I knitted for about 4 nights. I was hooked and got around 6 feet of it. So when I put it on to try it out, it's quite a very stiff scarf, and when it blows in the wind, it kind of picks up this starchy fabric that kind of doesn't really bend very well. But I kind of didn't want to frog it until I lived with it for a while. And now that I've lived with it for a while and I have a few more projects under my belt, I do have ideas for this wool, which I will probably frog back and make something a bit more durable, maybe a basket or a projects bag or something like that with it, because it is quite bulky. Now a little bit about the wool is, where is that? Here it is. So as you can tell, it was one of my first projects that I completed, so I didn't keep the band. But I did find the information online and I printed it out. So it's a Loops and Thread Charisma brand, and the colorway is called Mountain Majestic. And as I said to you, it is a bulky 5, and the skein is 100 grams, which gives you 100 meters. And it suggests knitting needle sizes of a 9mm. So as I said, I kind of was not at 9mm. I think I might have purchased the 6mm needle set of needles. So I was already like doomed to create this very thick fabric. A little bit more about this wool is that it's you can throw it in the wash, and you can tumble dry it because it's 100% acrylic. So not sure what I'm going to do with this. As I said, I'm going to frog it back and maybe think of a second project to make with it. The other, from learning the lesson of that one, ooh, look at my hair. I then went back to Michael's. No, I do lie. I then purchased some wool on yarncanada.com's website, and it was the Lion Brand's Mandala range that I had purchased. I'll show you the range and the pricing of those in a little bit. So I bought a lighter weight yarn because Mandala yarn is a light 3 weight, and I went back to Michael's. That's why I went to Michael's to get different needles. So I listened to what the recommended needle size was on the label of the Mandala, and I actually went up the other way. So it recommended a 3.75 millimeter needle, and I went and bought a 4.5mm needle, so I could get the nice drape in the cowl. And so I'll talk to you a bit about the pattern first on this one. It's a pattern that I got online, a free pattern from, I think, drops.com. I'll leave the link to it in the description box below. But this pattern was a thrill to go through because it was teaching me so many different stitches. It's a pattern that uses a repeat of 50 stitches, and in this particular one I did five repeats, so 5 50s are 250 stitches, and it has a good variety of cabling, of a seed stitch, rib stitch, and it taught me a lot about like how to use 3 needles, which is the third one being like the cable needle. And I did kind of like go against what the pattern said for some of it, because it suggested to do only an inch or 2 of ribbing at either end, but I wanted to have more ribbing at the bottom end of the cowl. So I did about 3 inches to 4 inches, so I doubled that and then went into the pattern. So the yarn that I used for this was, as I said, the Mandala yarn in the colorway Harpy, and for this extra bit that I put on the bottom, I did I added a different yarn to it, which was the Lion Brand Shawl-in-a-Ball, to create some of the striping. And there are many ways you can wear this. You can actually put it on like so, right, and then sort of get the nice waffly kind of cabling and the colors kind of bunching up like that. It's not quite long enough to do it infinity twist and put your head through it, but it is possible. It's quite snug, but I guess it serves the purpose of keeping a tighter, I guess a warmer fit, so when you're out you won't get any cold breeze going through. So that's a way of wearing it. So after I completed the harpy one, I had another cake, which is the brownie. It's got the same stats as the harpy, just a different colorway, and that's the colorway here. As you can see, it looks like a brownie. Kind of looks like a Nanaimo bar too. And this is what happened. I didn't add the extra. This one is definitely strictly to the pattern. I didn't add any extra ribbing to the bottom. And it uses one extra set of 50 stitches. So instead of the 250, this one has the 300 stitches on the needles. So yeah, and this one actually fits a little nicer when it twists and you do the double. It's a little looser, so as you can see, there's a lot more openings, and yeah. I have one more finished project. It's this beanie here. It uses 3 colorways. The main color is this grey, dark grey marl from Peyton's Classic Wool Worsted series, and it's a medium 4, and it suggests that 4.5mm needles are used, or a 5mm crochet hook is used. So that's the main color. The first contrasting color is this kind of orange yellow color from Red Heart. It's from Chic Sheep, and the colorway is called Mimoso, and this is 100% merino wool, which allows it to be machine washed in cold water. Now this suggests a 5mm needle or a 5mm crochet hook. And the third color is from Mary Maxim. It's this brown color, and the colorway I believe is called brown. Let me just see. It is called brown. I was right. And this is also a 4-weight, and it suggests 5mm knitting needles. So I'm learning to use the wool weight that will pair well with each other, and the knitting needles that also are required for that wool weight. And I'll just put this on so you can see it. I got this pattern from a website called knittingdaily.com. It's called the 2-Color Hat by Andrea Wong. I've actually used 3 colors in my hat, but the pattern suggests 2 colors, and I'm really digging the pattern. Andrea Wong talks a little bit about her inspiration here and how it is inspired by Portuguese style knitted hats, where in the pattern, they actually instruct you to work the wrong side. And I guess that's so that you can control the floats a little better. But I didn't do it the wrong side. I actually knitted it up the right side, like this. So that was my final finished product that I'm sharing with you. But I have another one already on my knitting needles of the same pattern, and I've chosen to use the same brown from Mary Maxim, and I'm contrasting that solid color of brown with a Red Heart soft seafoam color of the same wool weight size. So this one is a wool weight size of 4, I believe. Yes, a wool weight medium size 4, and it requires or requests that a 5mm set of knitting needles is used. So it's kind of like a nice contrast color, which goes with the brown, giving me more color definition for the shapes and the stitches than the marl. That completes the works in progress, and the next thing I'd like to share with you is my yarn haul from yarncanada.ca. All of the mandala cowls that I showed earlier. So this one is in the colorway, oh, turn that the right way, the colorway Griffin. Super soft. So the colors actually gradate from one to the next, but there is a definite stripe between the color changes at a certain point. This one here is the Mandala Warlock. Green's my favorite color, so I really like this one. So the mandalas were going at the time on the website when I purchased them for $8.99 Canadian, and this one is cupcakes, also from Lion Brand, in the colorway Tundra. They have the same stats as the mandala, and that's the striping colors that you get. I was thinking with these ones of doing something a little different. I know yarn lovers out there love buying their cakes with centers that have matching centers, because I guess when you knit a project you can seamlessly join the two together and it just repeats the color series again. But I'm thinking of maybe knitting up and alternating between the outside of one cake and the inside of the other, and have them like change up every so many rows, and have the colors cross over in the garment. So maybe a shawl or a scarf would be good, something flat paneled. And the cupcakes sold for $9.99 Canadian for each. And this one here is slightly different. It has the same specs as the cupcakes and the mandala. The only difference is, as the name suggests, it contains some wool. It's got 20% wool and 80% acrylic. And this colorway is called a polo. I got one of these just to try it out. It's very soft. There's no scratch to it. And the nice thing about this is with the care instructions, it actually says that you can throw this in the machine wash, or you can as long as the water is cold. So that's really good. And for the price of this one, it was $9.95 Canadian. The last thing in my purchase was what a cake that I used. Sorry, this isn't a cake. A skein of wool that I used for the shawl, the harpy shawl, to add to the ribbing that I used, the stripes that I had created extra into the pattern of the shawl, of the cowl. And this one is Lion Brand's Shawl-in-a-Ball in the colorway Feng Shui Grey. And that one was $11.60 Canadian. So all the cakes were under $10, and the Shawl-in-a-Ball was a little bit more. It was $11.60 Canadian. I believe they don't sell them anymore, or they're discontinuing the Shawl-in-a-Ball, and they're offering the wool in a cake form called shawl in a cake. So there's really no point me reading the stats for that one because it will be changing. So yeah, that concludes my yarn haul, my works in progress and finished objects. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to catching you next time. If you did enjoy this video, I would really appreciate you liking the video or subscribing if you found something here in this video that you enjoyed. Please hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any upcoming videos or videos that I release. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Hope you're having a great day. See you soon.